Two people we haven't talked about in a really long time are Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star. Ever since Frenemies ended, Trisha has very much been in her protecting my peace era, and she steered clear of getting involved in any kind of drama. Jeffree has also followed a similar path as Trisha and completely distanced himself from the influencer space and the drama that follows it. He moved his life down to Wyoming, opened a ranch, and started selling yak meat. Trisha and Jeffree were probably the two people in the influencer space that you could always expect at least some drama from, so seeing them step away from that was a massive change. Well, we're finally getting a taste of the old days because both Jeffree and Trisha are back in the drama. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Ever since Frenemies ended, Trisha completely changed her online personality and started to back away from the drama. She focused on being a mom and making family content through vlogs, and there really hasn't been much drama to report on with her. The first time that Trisha was actually involved in any kind of drama in a long time was when everything came out about Colleen, leading to the end of their joint podcast and Trisha disavowing Colleen. Trisha has since gone on to make her own podcast called Just Trish, and it's been extremely successful for her. Trisha hasn't seen numbers like this in years. Every episode has been hitting anywhere from like 200,000 to 1 million views, and it's very much giving Frenemies vibes. Trisha has been dipping her toes back into speaking on influencers and talking about pop culture headlines and things happening in the industry, and as entertaining as it has been to watch lately, it's also landing Trisha back into the drama that she tried so hard to avoid. A few days ago, Trisha had Terry Joe on her podcast, and as some of you guys probably know, Terry Joe often goes live with Jeffree Star. Recently, Jeffree has been really big into doing TikTok lives. Every time I'm scrolling on my For You page, some live of Jeffree with someone I've never seen before pops up, and they can go on for hours. Since Terry Joe knows of Jeffree Star, he ended up being brought up during the podcast. Trisha said that she didn't really know if she had beef with Jeffree, and if she did, she forgot about it.
Well, how did you do Jeffree and Eugenia? Because that's like the holy trinity of TikTok live.
I saw Eugenia. It didn't say that she was live with Jeffree. It usually shows like they're live with someone else, and I just clicked her name, and Jeffree was there.
And you haven't met him in real life?
No.
They could be iconic. I could see you guys together.
Okay. I'm a little scared of him.
Really?
Yeah, but not really.
Right.
I'm also scared of everyone. So.
I'm scared of everyone too. Yeah. No, Jeffree's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we had I don't know, maybe we didn't have beef. I don't know. Sometimes you think about like why did we fall out? Sometimes I forget. I was just a hot mess. I just hated everyone for a minute.
That was the point of like the internet at that time when everyone was just falling out with each other and
just being so messy.
Everyone's just beefing. I think that's like the entertainment value of the internet.
Someone on TikTok ended up taking this clip and putting it into a compilation showing Trisha claiming that she forgot about what they were fighting over, and then added clips from the height of this drama where Trisha was extremely upset on camera talking about how Jeffree treated her during that Vegas trip.
Jeffree's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we had I don't know, maybe we didn't have beef. I don't know. Sometimes you think about like why did we fall out? Sometimes I forget.
This is Jeffree Star. So awful to me on this Vegas trip a year ago.
Romantic, fabulous getaway weekend with Jeffree Star in Vegas, which was so over the top and fun and amazing, and it was the best weekend of my life.
Jeffree's the one who said all those vile things. Jay was just stupid enough to repeat and confirm it online because he's his little minion. But Jeffree is also just as vile, so obviously trash is gonna keep trash.
Jeffree's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we
Jeffree then went on live, and it sounds like he was reacting to this specific compilation of clips. Now, I personally wasn't on the live, so I'm not 100% sure, but that's what this sounds like. Jeffree got really heated about the clips because he was like, how could you not remember? And then he accused Trisha of lying about everything back then and making it all up.
He made up the most vicious lies about me and tried to ruin my life. And at the time, everyone was bored and people entertained her lies. It was so horrible for my mental health. And this she don't remember. That's crazy. She don't remember. Oh, but she has a kid now. She's healed. No, she's awful. She's an evil person. This is crazy. She don't remember.
Jeffree Star so awful to me on this Vegas trip a year ago.
Romantic, fabulous getaway weekend with Jeffree Star in Vegas, which was so over the top and fun and amazing, and it was the best weekend of my life.
It was so crazy, y'all. This uploaded a vlog about our trip. It was so beautiful and amazing. 4 months later, deletes it, makes up all the lies, trying to ruin my life. Y'all, this is crazy. I don't remember. You don't remember trying to ruin my life, girl? That's what I'm saying is like people just, someone said, let it go. Baby, I've already let it go. I'm the one that moved to Wyoming and got therapy and fixed a lot of issues that I was having because I was letting people get to me all the time. And just because I'm passionate and raise my voice, don't mean I'm angry. It's just so crazy how I really took this person in and they on me the first second people were starting to turn or felt any type of way. It was crazy. It's just very disheartening because human beings can be so awful, and to literally try to ruin my life and then say you don't remember what happened. Is this a joke, you guys? I'm literally gonna throw up in my mouth. Like, I feel literally sick to my stomach. I'm so disrespected all the time.
If Jeffree was just like, how could Trisha not remember? She spoke out publicly against me. I don't understand how she's not remembering that. Then yeah, I could understand him making that point. But trying to say that Trisha is lying about everything really feels like we're rewriting history. Just for a little bit of a recap here. A few years ago, Trisha went on this trip with Jeffree Star and his whole team to Vegas for Valentine's Day. From the vlog that Trisha posted, it looked like she had a really good time, but she ended up leaving early. A lot of people were really confused because from what we saw, we thought that Trisha had this really great time, but it doesn't make sense because here she was leaving early. A lot of people were speculating about what may have happened, but for a while, Trisha kept silent. It wasn't even Trisha who initially exposed all this information about the Vegas trip. One of Jeffree Star's ex-friends who was on that trip actually posted a video, and he was the one that aired out what happened. He said there was a person on the trip and Jeffree and all the people around Jeffree were really mean to this one friend. He never actually said the friend's name, but people connected the dots and everyone assumed it was about Trisha. Trisha denied everyone's speculation for a really long time, but eventually confirmed that it was about her and said Jeffree actually apologized to her in private.
It's not that I'm like scared. I think maybe I said scared. Sometimes I'm scared. It's just like I don't want the drama. That's what I'm saying. Like I truly don't. And I think I publicly have now said my piece on that where I'm like, I don't consider Jeffree a close friend because of the stuff I heard. He has reached out and tried to apologize, and I feel like his pain, I can understand it, and I understand it. But I'm not really ready to like accept the apology, you know what I mean? Like, or at least be friends on that level. I don't know, because it really did hurt. Like that trip in Vegas, like it's petty, really is petty. It's like not that big of a deal. I just like cried when I came home. I was like, wow.
A few months later, Jeffree's hair guy, Hair by Jay, came out, and he reacted to some clip of, I guess, Trisha talking about the Vegas situation and a payment dispute that Trisha talked about where he apparently overcharged her for a wig, and he went off on her in the most shocking way. Trisha ended up posting this whole video about the live stream, and she titled it, Why I'm Scared of Jeffree and Hair by Jay, and she aired everything out. She talked about what happened during that Vegas trip, said Hair by Jay overcharged her for her wig and she paid him anyways. She talked about alleged mean girl behavior that happened. It just sounded like a really horrible situation. Jeffree ended up responding to Trisha on Twitter, and he said, I've been in Wyoming and had no idea what was going on. Just catching up now, and I am horrified by what he said. Let's not pretend I had any part in that. I have personally apologized to @Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas, and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it, and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama. Not interested. What someone else says does not represent me. So the whole point of us going over all this old drama is to show that Jeffree said he apologized to Trisha for Vegas, and Trisha said that he apologized to her personally for Vegas. That's why people are so confused as to why Jeffree is just now saying that Trisha is lying. If Trisha was lying, you would think back then he would have said none of this is true and would have offered no apology. I think Trisha was just brushing it off during her podcast with Terry because she didn't want to get back into it. This is such old drama, and both Trisha and Jeffree have seemed to have moved on doing their own thing and staying out of the drama. I never for a second took that as Trisha saying that she actually forgot what happened. It was just her trying to keep the peace. I mean, even during her podcast with Tana a few weeks ago, when Trisha was asked about Jeffree, She kept things cute and didn't really have anything bad to say about him. Yeah, she never said that they were besties and made up or anything like that, but she also didn't trash him. Now, Trisha was actually ignoring all of this happening until a new podcast clip came out. Jeffree went on Bunnie's podcast and she posted a short clip from it talking about how Trisha was supposed to come on her podcast the day prior, but canceled, and that sparked Jeffree to talk about Trisha and the Hair by Jay stuff. When Trisha saw this clip, she went off on her TikTok. She started off trying to explain herself for why she canceled on Bunnie at the last minute and said that she looks up to her and feels extremely horrible for doing that to her and her team.
So I have actually never been more visibly shaken than I am right now. My biggest fear when I canceled last minute on Bunnie was this happening was just her talking about it, because I know she has such a loyal fan base. I love Bunnie. She's super sweet. I think she's very unproblematic. And so I was just like so nervous because I did ghost her within an hour of us supposed to record. I texted her to cancel because I was trying to squeeze it in to do her podcast. I wanted to do her podcast more than anything. Like, I love Bunnie. I keep telling her, like, it's amazing, her story. Like, every time a new part of her story comes out, like, I'm in awe, and I think she's, like, I looked up to her in so many ways. So, the last thing I wanted to do was cancel. I sent a text and was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I didn't check my phone the rest of the night. You guys are going to see on Thursday, I got this really amazing opportunity in Vegas, like this really amazing opportunity. And it was supposed to be for the next day. And then we got something that night and we just were cutting it so close. It was like picking up the boots, had to go to this event, like check my mom and baby into the hotel. Like, and I told her, I was like, I feel so awful, and no excuse. And Bunnie, I am so sorry. Like, I know how disrespectful that is on so many levels. And obviously it did affect her for her to bring it up on the podcast. And I'm so sorry.
She then went on to talk about the Vegas trip again and called Jeffree out for trying to claim that she lied about what happened.
But bringing it up on a podcast with Jeffree Star, who just hates me and continues to just hate me. I brought him up so briefly. It was asked on Tana's podcast about Jeffree, and I try to just pass it off as like it happened a long time ago. I don't even remember. And he just went on this tirade attacking me, calling me a liar. And there's one thing being in drama and responding to drama, and there's another thing to just have lies made up and just this is definition of gaslighting, to say I owe him an apology. Like, I am shaking.
Trisha seemed extremely upset that Jeffree was bringing up Hair by Jay, and she was getting really worked up over the whole situation.
To say that I lied about him, and then he also brings in Hair by Jay, saying I lied about Hair by Jay when there's videos of Hair by Jay just cussing me out, telling me how ugly I am. And then there's videos of other people on that trip talking about all the mean girl behavior that happened. The reason I bought my own flight home. I was grateful with that trip. I was grateful with my friendship with Jeffree. But things happened, and I didn't feel good about it anymore, and so I was out. I didn't say anything about Jeffree for years. I opened up to Shane and Ryland, and that is why my friendship with Shane ended, because Ryland said we had no idea she had these feelings about Jeffree. And they're like, the Hair by Jay, okay, we know, and they picked Jeffree, and that's fine. That's fine. I've made my peace with it. I've truly made my peace with it, and I really don't want this drama, but I'm not going to let me get dragged in and say I lied. And I owe him an apology, and it was hurtful to him.
She went on to say that she feels like Bunnie bringing this up was a bit like mean girl behavior because of her history with Jeffree.
There's plenty of receipts. There's plenty of videos of this online, of apologies, of all this stuff online. And I thought I was just being polite by saying it was a long time ago. I don't even remember, because I don't want to drudge this up, because for me, it's humiliating, it's embarrassing. Who I was back then is embarrassing. I thought who we were back then was embarrassing. I thought Jeffree could agree on that. And like seeing all this, and then seeing Bunnie bring it up on this episode where Jeffree just despises me, knowing that he's going to go off on me and say I'm a liar and all this stuff like that. Say I wanted it, was looking for clout when I didn't say anything for years. I don't know. It felt a little bit of an attack. It felt a little bit mean girl behavior, because I get it. What I did was so disrespectful to Bunnie. Like, I should not have canceled last minute. I shouldn't have even made the plans to begin with. I was just so flustered. This trip this event that was happening is like one of the biggest things that have ever happened in my entire life. I was so focused on that, and I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Bunnie actually responded to Trisha in her comment section and said, I didn't speak bad of Trisha at all. If you listen to the pod, I def talk very good about Trish, but was explaining what happened. And Trisha responded and said, I get what I did is gross. I get being away from your family and I wasted your time. But putting my name on blast only incites hate. It's humiliating. Bunnie then posted her own video response and claimed that she never talked badly about Trisha on the podcast and explained how hurtful it was for her to have Trisha cancel on her podcast when she put a ton of work into making things work out.
When I did this podcast, if you guys listened to the podcast, if you've listened to it already, you know that in the podcast, I do nothing but talk good about Trisha. And I'm just matter-of-factly stating what happened between Trisha and I. Her missing the podcast actually really did bother me. One, because it's unprofessional. Two, because I had to leave Vegas, go to Utah, and I'm doing this while I'm sick, by the way. Go to Utah, do my meet and greet, leave Utah, drive 6 hours back to Vegas, get there, get ready for her to come. I had to organize having a private jet there right after we got done filming, like we had planned from 2 to 5. We had planned that. I had to have a private jet ready to take me from Vegas to Montana so that I could make it to my meet and greet in Montana and to do the Jeffree podcast. Not to mention I had to drag my entire team along with me. I understand that things happen. Where I do have a problem with it, though, was where I text Trisha back and I explained to her, like, no, I don't have another day. Like, my entire past 2 days revolves around you. She did not even have the decency to text me back. You say you respect me, you say you admire me, but at the same time, it's like you don't respect my time. So saying that you feel ganged up on, I think might just be your guilt, maybe because you feel bad and you know that you handled the situation with me wrong, and I understand that.
Canceling on someone at the last minute like that and not even having the decency to reply back to their text isn't a nice thing to do. I think Bunnie has every right to be upset over that. From what I personally saw of the short clip, it didn't sound like Bunnie was pushing Jeffree to talk about Trisha. She was just talking about her own situation, and then Jeffree jumped in with his own story. It really sounds like Bunnie had no idea about any drama that's happened, and I mean, even for people who are tuned into the drama, it can be so hard to keep up and follow everything throughout the years, so I can't even picture how someone who doesn't keep up with it would have any idea of what happened years ago. As for Jeffree, I'm just so confused. Tab spoke out about what happened, Hair by Jay talked about it, Trisha confirmed it, and Jeffree apparently apologized. It felt like the conclusion of that situation, and from every clip I've seen of Trisha being asked about Jeffree, she usually keeps things pretty respectful, so I don't know where all of this is coming from. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.